Good morning, best ball sickos and degenerates. It is June 18th. Welcome into the Fantasy Six Pack Network. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. This is Best Ball Breakfast with Bruni. We're going to be breaking into some ADP Risers and Fallers. We are already plugged into our draft, and we actually have four more to start here. So not sure how much time we're going to have to cover all of these. We better get right into it here. Last week, it took quite some time to fill the draft, so I'm glad to see that everybody's starting to dive in, get into best ball summer with 2 feet in. We are just going to back out of this one because I think we'll actually have some time to get another full draft here. Because, like I said, last week it took me like almost 40 minutes to fill that thing. So it looks like we have a little bit more activity this morning. We can be a little bit more patient. So let's dive into our risers. Let's see who's on the menu for some ADP risers within the last 7 days. We've got Braelon Allen, Jalen McMillen, Elijah Mitchell, Demario Douglas, Rashee Rice, Dontavian Wicks, Jaleel McLaughlin, Rashad Bateman, Rashid Shaheed, Michael Wilson, Joshua Palmer, and Hollywood Brown. We're going to go through 5 guys that we want to touch on specifically, and we'll wrap up the rest of the list here at the end of these 5 risers. So we've got Rashee Rice. ADP is up to 76. It's been as low as 87. I have to say, I'm just not interested at this cost. I've seen him go off the board plenty of times, 15 to 20 picks after ADP, and that's where I want to draft him. I want to get some significant value back for potentially missed time. We could have a situation similar to Alvin Kamara where, we have all these issues with him popping off in the media and his lifestyle right now, but maybe we don't see missed time until next season. And people are saying like, oh, well, if that's the case, then I'm getting a good value here. You just don't know. I mean, you're completely rolling the dice on Rashee Rice. I would rather have Hollywood Brown at his cost, and we'll definitely touch on him a little bit, who is a climber, but not climbing as much as Rashee Rice. I mean, there was a time where you could get him around pick 100, between 95 and 100, and now you're seeing him at like 77, meaning that you're really only getting him at like picks 90 through 95 at best with a very good dip. So this is not a situation that I am favoring. I am not buying the dip, I'm not buying the climb on Rashee Rice. I'll buy a significant dip mid-draft, but his overall climb, you see here at the back end of his little chart, he does have a small uptick, and he was as high as ADP 46 at one point. Wide receiver 47 just doesn't feel like a good enough value here. Jalen McMillen, if you're looking at his chart, big climber right now. I'm not sure if this is just the Twitterverse really gassing him up the boards and really giving him some love in the public eye, because I just don't know where his production is going to come behind Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, another year of Rachaad White, Cade Otton, kind of surging a little bit, his role growing in that offense. I would prefer like Bucky Irving at his ADP over Jalen McMillen. I mean, the cost is relatively low. I mean, you're looking at ADP 200, so you're still looking at round 17, round 18. But I would rather have maybe Bucky Irving in that offense as a rookie, just because it would feel like there's a clear production for like median production, a median level, right? Because Irving could have a role behind Rachaad White in this offense weekly, whereas Jalen McMillen, you're really just searching for some injury spike weeks. If you had an Evans or a Godwin missing for a week or so or more, then you get a little bit more opportunity there. So a bigger roll of the dice, in my opinion. Let's see. We've got Braelon Allen continuing to climb. We talked about him a lot last week. Braelon Allen, I don't like getting him other than times where I do draft Breece Hall or I have some late round correlation to the New York Jets. If I can get, Conklin and Corley and Allen and Rodgers, with my last handful of picks. So if that's something that you're doing, I do think that Braelon Allen is a nice piece to add to your late round Jets stacks. Other than that, I just don't see a lot of value, grabbing him naked, as just the Jets RB2 behind Breece Hall. An immense opportunity, no dissimilar to Elijah Mitchell. We'll definitely be talking about him as well. But again, I just don't feel like there's enough juice there for me to draft Braelon Allen again, just naked, not exposed to other Jets draft options. Rashid Shaheed, big climber right now, and that's has a lot to do with the Juwan Johnson injury. Juwan Johnson, big faller right now. Rashid Shaheed stock is climbing. You see the chart, heading in a very northern direction here. Was at one point, ADP 132. He's up to 106. I think the public is just getting a clear idea that, hey, this guy is going to be the wide receiver 2 on this team, and they like to chuck the ball. Derek Carr likes to take his shots downfield, and Rashid Shaheed, that's how he was used as a deep threat, as a change of pace type of player. So I like his stock. He's someone that I've been in on. And again, this is a nice option. You can get some late round value in Rashid Shaheed, back him up with a late round Derek Carr. You get some late round value stacking there. Pretty good value. I will buy his increased cost. I don't want to get too cute with it, but definitely somebody I can grab on my roster that I feel comfortable with at a pretty median cost at ADP 106. Josh Palmer I like a lot more, and his ADP is after Rashid Shaheed, and I like his opportunity this year. Again, public getting a little bit sharper here. His ADP climbing up to 111, was as low as 134. It's about 2 rounds. It's about almost 24 picks there. So a 2-round climber for Joshua Palmer. I'm still gonna buy the rise. I'm gonna buy the adjusted cost here, and will most likely continue to do so because again, I view Palmer as being either the number 1 or number 2 in total targets, receiving production, just being that guy there. So he is someone that's going at a massive discount right now and someone that I want to continue to buy. Going back through the list here, anyone that we didn't cover, Elijah Mitchell, again, no clear movement there from their backfield. I don't think even if Isaac Guerrero was showing up in OTAs and they were excited about him, that they would even tip their hand that he would have a bigger role. Elijah Mitchell just in line behind CMC for a very important workload if CMC were to go down. Obviously, that would make Elijah Mitchell very valuable. Up 9.5 spots. Again, this is similar to Braelon Allen. I'm only getting if I have some late round exposure to the 49ers or it's my 6th running back and I've already drafted CMC. Demario Douglas up 9.5 spots. It's hard for me to buy any Patriots player up 9.5 spots right now, even if it were Ramondre Stevenson, who I love this year. It's hard for me to attack any of these wide receivers, being like the first person in your draft to draft a Patriots receiver. It's bold. It's bold because you just don't need to do it. You don't need to plant a flag in that stable, right? You have Demario Douglas, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kendrick Bourne. I'm sure, the latter 2 could be even cut at some point. I think you want to wait till, finding out a little bit more information on that group before you decide, hey, I want to be the first person in my draft to take a Patriots receiver. Already covered Rashee Rice, Dontavian Wicks up 6.5 spots. I love what Dontavian Wicks did towards the end of last year, but again, it's a very crowded space. You have Jaden Reed, you have Romeo Doubs. Christian Watson would have finished with a similar target volume to both of those top 2 guys had he been healthy all year. Dontavian Wicks, I like him a lot. He's on my fantasy teams, or on my dynasty teams, excuse me. So he's definitely somebody that helped me out towards the end of last year, and I like him a lot. But again, it's, as he continues to climb, I don't know if I want to get too cute with his ADP. He's at a very good cost right now and one of the more lesser expensive Packer receivers. So that's really where his value lies in me. Good offense, getting a similar value or volume, to the other guys most likely, and you're getting him at a value. Jaleel McLaughlin, he's my guy. Let's go. Wheels up. JMC this year. JMC is going to be the next big thing in Denver. He's going to absolutely explode. I don't know if I'm buying Javonte Williams being cut, but oh my goodness, if he was, we can talk about a James Cook level season from last year for JMC this year. I will continue to buy the increased cost no matter what. Give me Jaleel McLaughlin. Give me Jaleel McLaughlin again and again and again. Rashad Bateman getting up 4.5 spots, similar increase to Rashid Shaheed. Again, public getting more comfortable taking him as the Ravens wide receiver 2. I still believe Devontae Walker is going to be a bigger threat to his production, but early in the year, I think Bateman could be a difference maker on our best ball teams. Michael Wilson, Again, very tough scenario here behind who's going to be the next guy after Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride. Is it Zay Jones? Is it Michael Wilson? Is it Greg Dortch? You just don't know. I don't want to be the first to any of those guys. I think Wilson and Dortch have a pretty similar ADP. So again, whoever's falling there, I'll take. And then Hollywood Brown. Absolutely love the juiced up value for Hollywood Brown. He has been one of my most exposed players probably through like my last 20 drafts. I just continue to buy Hollywood Brown. Obviously in a very good offense with the Chiefs. They're going to take their shots downfield. And he has good experience. Like he's been around the league now, started in Baltimore, came to Arizona in his, on his third roster, on his third system here. But he's tied up with Andy Reid. I mean, this is a very good situation. Could be another, Deshaun Jackson for Andy Reid here. Could be a huge weapon. Let's touch on the fallers here. Maybe we'll peek our head into the draft, see if we need to get ourselves lined up here. Loading draft, 5 more to start. We can work with that. We'll let it fill and we will jump in. So Josh Jacobs taking a little bit of a fall here. I'm going to buy this dip. LaFleur loves running backs. He went out and paid Josh Jacobs. I think the concern is we've seen some reports, maybe he won't be ready for week 1. He should be ready for training camp. I'm not really worried about him not being available to start the season. So at ADP 50, RB 12, I'll continue to buy the dip because I could see this cost instantly turn around and that chart going in a completely different direction. Donta Foreman, faller right now. Also, Nick Chubb is a big faller, so that's interesting. When I have 2 of the 3 guys falling, when one of them is projected to miss time, I will buy the dip on Donta Foreman. I don't want to get too overweight on his stock, but I do believe he will be a value for you in the first handful of weeks of the NFL season. So if you're stretching for some value, I do not dislike Donta Foreman. RB 62 right now. If something were to happen with Nick Chubb's timeline, you could see an immense value increase for Donta Foreman. So I will buy this dip at this time. Geno Smith, holy cow, all over the place. Just look at this chart here. Up, down, up, down, up, down. When I see this, when I see the market being very indecisive on a player, you just know you do not have to buy them at cost. You should not be buying Geno Smith unless he's falling to you 10, 15, 20 picks after ADP. Even if you're laced up with Seahawks and you're looking to correlate, it's not necessary. Even when people are doing that, they're still letting him fall. So do not buy Geno Smith at cost. Buy the dip, get the discount, and maybe people are a little more optimistic about Sam Howell. I have one exact share of Sam Howell, so maybe I am one of those people. Buy the Alvin Kamara dip. It's just as simple as that. I don't care what anyone says. Keandre Miller, Jamal Williams, Alvin Kamara is still going to be a very big part of the Saints offense. Recognize that. Know it. Do not fade him. Again, I'm going to continue to buy this dip. He's at ADP 73. He was as high as 65. I start my running back stables with Alvin Kamara, doing 0 RB builds all the time. No issue with it. Obviously, the guys that you're getting after him make him more valuable to your team. But this is a bit of an overreaction to his age and his experience. But last year, he had a nice bounce back season, didn't put too much tread on the tires. He's going to be good to go for this year. Another big buy the dip option here. You saw this little up and down here in the last couple of weeks here on his chart. And I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, this guy went to the Vikings so that he could specifically play the Packers twice. I mean, he didn't stay in the division for nothing. This is something here. They're going to use him and Ty Chandler. But again, still buying the dip here. I don't understand why his stock would fall just because maybe some offensive linemen said, oh, hey, also it's Ty Chandler. Very, very good. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what other market effects would be moving his line, but I'm continuing to buy the dip there. So Juwan Johnson, obviously, recent injury. He's down 17 spots. Draft is starting soon here, so we are right on time. And we are going to be picking from the 9 spot. So we'll get the draft board up here shortly. Draft starts in about 45 seconds. So let's run through these fallers. Again, Juwan Johnson, Nick Chubb, injury-related dips here. I am not buying any more Juwan Johnson. I have a lot of Juwan Johnson, so that injury hurt me. But I'm just going to hold out optimism that he's going to be available for week 1 or somewhere between weeks 3 and 5. Nick Chubb, obviously not certain what we're getting there. I'm continuing to still get him as my running back 5 or running back 6. Daniel Jones, again, not sure if he'll be ready to start the season there. That's the concern there. Josh Jacobs, we already covered. TJ Hawkinson, same thing. I mean, these are all really just injury-related situations here. So if you are confident that these guys are going to be playing a fair amount this season, then you still want to get them on your rosters. Very limited exposure for me for Hawkinson. Donta Foreman, we covered. Ben Sinnott, I'm drafting more Zach Ertz in the last round than I am Ben Sinnott. I think at some point their ADPs are going to merge, and they're probably both going to be available in like the 6th or 16th or 17th round, that they'll be drafted in a similar spot. Already covered Geno and Alvin Kamara. CJ Stroud, I randomly saw him fall like 18 to 20 picks past ADP in a recent draft. Not something that's happening often. I don't understand why there would be a fall. I do think he needs some corrected cost. I do not think that he should be more expensive than Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. Like, if you see him go ahead of those guys in your draft, you should be grateful for the value that's falling in front of you. JJ McCarthy just getting farther away from the NFL draft, realizing that he's not going to be the guy there, that Sam Darnold's probably going to start the majority of games this season. And then Aaron Jones, we already covered. We are up in 5 picks, so let's get the board up here. Appreciate everybody jumping in with us this morning. Be sure to smash the like button, share the video, and follow the Fantasy Six Pack Network. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandparents where they can come and get all this best ball goodness and fantasy football goodness. They've got all sorts of good stuff on the network here, guys. Dynasty, IDP. They've got a lot of good things cooking here, so be sure to jump in and show your support and join the conversation. You know, Fantasy Six Pack is here. They're always interacting with viewers and listeners, so be sure to join the conversation. We are up next. We've got Breece Hall and Puka Nacua staring at us. We are looking like we've got Breece Hall, Puka Nacua, AJ Brown. We're going to go Breece Hall here. Get us some easy breezy. Maybe that'll give us a callback to some Braelon Allen. Maybe we'll get some Braelon Allen in this draft. Struggling to get the board up here. Just a moment, please. Go to draft. Go to draft. All right. Up again in 5 picks after Breece Hall. Ooh, Nico Collins, pick 10. That is spicy. Spicy. The public, they are here. I love that. I love it so much. Nico Collins, pick 10. Wow. What a treat. What a treat, chat. All right, let's get the draft board pulled up here. Again, up in 4 picks. 4 picks away. All right, there we go. There she is. That beautiful, beautiful draft board. Nico Collins, AJ Brown, Puka Nacua at pick 12. That person is pretty happy. They have the Puka Nacua and Marvin Harrison stack week 17 correlation there. Rams in Arizona, games being played in a dome. That's a nice scoop. That's a nice scoop getting Puka Nacua at pick 12. It's a little expensive for me for Puka at pick 9. I'm typically grabbing, Breece Hall or AJ Brown over him, just because I think that I do believe that Puka is too expensive. I think that it's a little bit of an overreaction to his season last year. I talked about this in I'm trying to scroll down here to pick Davante Adams, and it's just not letting me do it. Let's do it from my cell phone so we don't miss out on Davante Adams here. There we go. Okay. No, Puka's cost is just a little bit too high. Like I was saying, they are pricing him at the top end of his potential production this year, coming off the board as, wide receiver 6. And this draft, he went as, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, wide receiver 9 at pick 12. I mean, I think that is a little bit of better value, but you're going to see Cooper Kupp go in round 3. And I firmly believe that throughout the season, you're going to see mirror production from these guys. Oh, and of course, it's not even up on the board. There we go. There it is. Looking at a different screen, y'all. No, I think that their production is going to mirror each other, week in and week out. I mean, both of them will have potential to be the wide receiver one for their team each week or in the fantasy category. But yeah, that's a very rich cost. Let's see. Second round, Harrison, London, Stephon Diggs. Wow. Oh, wow. That guy's going all in. Went Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs in his first 2 picks. It's very, very bold. Very bold doing Diggs over Devontae Adams, who will have, I guarantee you, more targets, more overall production. Jahmyr Gibbs had a big fall here. He's typically going in that 12-13 turn. He went at pick 17. Jonathan Taylor, pick 18. That's very normal. Olave, Barkley, Achane, Ayuk, Evans, pick 23. Pick 24 went to Jalen Waddle, and then Deebo Samuel. So the one spot went CMC, Jalen Waddle, Deebo. It's not a bad start. I just don't know if I like Waddle there as my number one. I think Waddle and Deebo kind of combine to make a kind of a reliable wide receiver one, but I'd rather have, Mike Evans, Devontae Adams. Obviously, the guy just missed out on Mike Evans, but that turn is typically a place where you can still get Evans. Deebo Samuel, DJ Moore, Malik Neighbor starting round 3. We've got May Blossom on the clock here. Nice little red badge. Started off Amon-Ra, came back with Achane. Let's see what they do here. Devonta Smith. Okay. Jalen Hurts off the board, pick 29. I want to check that ADP. 10 picks ahead of ADP. Don't love that. But he did stack up Barkley with Hurts. I am on deck here. After Hurts went DK Metcalf, Kyrene, RB for Garnes, 2 red badge. I'm going to guess that he's quote unquote experimenting because that's not very common and typically not observed consistently from the badge community. Cooper Kupp, that is a snipe out of easily taken Cooper Kupp right there. I've got Michael Pittman, Derrick Henry, Sam Laporta, Zay Flowers, and Tank Dell on the board here. I'm going to balance things out. I'm going to go with Derrick Henry here. We're going to start 2-2. We're going Breece Hall, Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, and we'll take a receiver with our next pick here. Tank Dell, wow. This guy is all in. He is all in. Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell. I mean, I think that's setting him up to take CJ Stroud at this next pick. I mean, I don't know if this guy's going to get him. I guess he will. I guess he could get him at pick 58. Let's check his ADP here. Yeah, he's at 59, but I got to believe that someone else in this draft is watching him do this and is saying, hey, we're not going to let that happen. I like this start for J Cash F. Puka, Marvin Harrison, Zay Flowers, Trey McBride loading up for that week 17 correlation. We are on the board here. Like I said, we want to go receiver. So we've got Adams. We've got Derrick Henry. We've got Breece Hall. I'm thinking Higgins, Pickens, or Cooper. Cooper's got a week 10 bye, so we're going to pass on that. Let's do T. Higgins. Just signed his franchise tender. He's in a good offense, obviously, a team that's going to pass the ball a lot. He could have a big year. I don't know if the Bengals are going to let that happen necessarily. But I think Joe Burrow is going to be a big help there. I definitely think that he's going to help T get paid, whether it's with the Bengals or elsewhere, most likely elsewhere. But I'll take the volume, the exposure to some efficient volume there. I also like Christian Kirk at that value, but I'm going to be holding off on running back for a little bit. So I do like some of the upcoming value at receiver. Maybe Calvin Ridley falls back to us. Probably not. But I like Chris Godwin. Maybe I get Rome Odunze in this draft. I haven't gotten a lot of Rome Odunze. Hopkins if I don't get Ridley. I like Keon Coleman, but I haven't been getting a ton of him at his cost. I'm always willing to take Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson will absolutely be available. But receiver has been a little aggressive in this draft, so we'll see. All right, so round 4, again, we had Trey McBride. Anthony Richardson. No stacking there for Indy Corona, but the Indy abbreviation there in the name, I think we get it. I think we see a Colts fan there. Michael Pittman soon after. Wow, that Texans guy didn't take another Texans player in round 4. Crazy. Surprised you didn't pull Joe Mixon up there. I took T. Higgins and Sam Laporta, Josh Allen, George Pickens, Josh Jacobs, still going in round 4. Good value for him. Hollywood Brown, Amari Cooper. Okay. Amari Cooper fell a little bit, I feel like. Let me take a peek at that. Let's take a peek. Yeah, just like 4 picks after ADP. That guy has Hill, Ayuk, Neighbors, Cooper. Pretty good. Not bad. Jaden Reed goes after Cooper. So a little run here starting on receivers, halted by a Lamar Jackson pick. So that first spot went CMC, Waddle, Debo, Lamar, Andrews. Nice stack, a nice 4-5 turn there stack for the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar and Andrews. I like that. Let's see if this gentleman was able to get them at a fall. Yeah, a little. Lamar, 4 picks after ADP. Mark Andrews, right on time at 49. Yeah, good stuff. I like that for the first draft spot there. That's nice. It's a good little start. Still don't love the receivers though, but I think that's more so because of the guys that were sniped on him. Evans, Ayuk. Honestly, I'll still take Olave over Waddle, and I don't love Olave this year, but it's just such a crowded Dolphins offense behind Tyreek Hill in the run game. Waddle will get his, but the biggest and best outcome for him, it's based on Tyreek Hill getting hurt, and that's just not something that we're hoping for. All right, Travis Etienne, George Kittle, Patrick Mahomes. This draft is a little bit of a slower pace versus last week. Last week we were in and out pretty quick here. Christian Kirk. Let's see. We are up in Isaiah Pacheco. We're at pick 55. I'm at pick 57. Terry McLaurin. I'm looking at Keenan Allen or Calvin Ridley here, and I'm fine with either. I take a lot of both, but they are my guys, quote unquote. And at this ADP, I could go Dalton Kincaid, but I need a receiver here. I have 2 running backs, 2 good running backs. Keenan Allen goes, so we're going to take Calvin Ridley. I like that. Tennessee offense, guys, they're going to pass the ball a lot. Like, I have to imagine Calvin Ridley moves up to like a round 3, at least round 4 by the start of the NFL season because, Brian Callahan, this is what he does, guys. Like, he passes the ball. Look at what the Bengals did for the past several years with Joe Burrow. Like, Joe Burrow was passing the ball 40-plus times as a rookie per game. So there's a lot to like there. The Texans guy did go Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker. He's got to take C.J. Stroud at this next pick. I hope Indy Corona snipes him somehow and takes a second quarterback here. I mean, I don't want to do it for the sake of, like, I don't think that ruins his draft, taking all those guys, but I just don't think it's as efficient and as fruitful as that person might believe. 3 team stacks is pretty good. Going all in, QB, running back, and all 3 receivers, that's super tough. But hey, as long as you're having fun, pal, as long as you're having fun. We're going Chris Godwin here. So we got we had a run of receivers: Higgins, Ridley, Godwin, and we also have Adams up top. So we've got Breece Hall, Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin. That's a good group. That's a good start. I like this. We might be able to pivot off of receiver now if we can get a little bit better value, maybe at tight end. Maybe we can target, it's probably Evan Ingram. That's at pick 81. So that would be 3 spots after his ADP. I don't mind actually going into these next 2 picks, 81 and 88, and grabbing Ingram and Ferguson because they're a good identifier for like the tight end shelf. Brock Bowers and Njoku is kind of like my last ditch effort, to getting like quality tight end production. So Ingram and Ferguson, they still feel like there's a lot of upside with both because Ingram obviously coming off an amazing season with the Jaguars, and that was a season where Trevor Lawrence was, practically hurt the entire time. The team should be a lot better this year. you add Gabe Davis, yes, you add Brian Thomas, but you lose Calvin Ridley. I think the shaking and movement on the roster still locks in Ingram for a similar volume for last year. Some give from the Ridley departure, some take from the acquisitions of Thomas and Gabe Davis, and I think it balances out to a similar level of production. We just saw Kyle Pitts go off the board, that number 1 spot, going double hero tight end there, 5 and 6 with Andrews and Pitts. I think that might hurt our chances to land Ingram here, but that's who I'm going to target here with this next pick potentially is Ferguson Ingram. If I miss that, I could potentially do Ferguson and Dak here. Dak would be about 5 picks ahead of ADP, but I don't mind that because I do think that Dak should be more expensive. Like, I don't know why CJ Stroud is that much more expensive than Dak Prescott. If their ADP swapped, I don't think anyone would blink an eye. You know, Dak Prescott is on a team that's going to throw the ball a ton. The Houston Texans are still going to run the ball a fair amount. They brought in Joe Mixon. They still have Dameon Pierce. Like, they're going to run the ball. The Dallas Cowboys have no run game right now. Zeke Elliott, Deuce Vaughn, Rico Dowdle. All right. Like, I'm sure they added some has-been running back that I'm not mentioning. Fire that up in the chat if you guys are live with us here, because I feel like they did add somebody like rando. Let me see if I can pull up the Cowboys here. And we're on the clock. Big runner receivers here, which makes me feel really good about, taking those last 3. We do get Evan Ingram here, so I'm very happy about that. We do have a few week 12 buys. We've got Breece Hall, we've got Higgins, we've got Ingram. We need to be mindful of that now heading into the next handful of rounds, because we don't want to be too overweight on week 12, through our first, 10 picks here. So we're looking at now, our roster is Hall, Adams, Henry, Higgins, Ridley, Godwin, Evan, Ingram. Let's see what the board has in store for us. And these next, we're up in 4 picks. We've got Williams, we've got Joe Burrow here. We could do a Higgins, Joe Burrow stack, but I literally just talked about not overexposing ourselves to the week 12 pie. I don't think we need to go Ferguson here then. I think the pick is Burrow or JMO, whichever one falls, just because I don't want to necessarily take our 5th receiver here just because we have good value. We have a good foursome. I think we're going to take Joe Burrow here. I think that's the pick. Getting him 4 spots after ADP. Not really concerned so much about the potential injury. He says he's going to be ready for week 1. I trust Burrow, and he's also a guy I trust to actually play through an injury. I know that's obviously not something ideal, but I know that he is going to do whatever he can to be on the field. So he is someone that gives me a little bit more confidence still, and a guy that still will throw the ball a ton. You saw Joe Mixon leave his offense. He's left with Zach Moss. He's left with Chase Brown. This should be a team that, again, throws the ball a ton. But it does seem like Joe will probably have to play through a minor injury this year. But again, getting him stacked up with Higgins, I like it. We will probably still get 2 more QBs with this approach here. We will probably have 5 running backs. Maybe that means we don't get Braelon Allen in this draft. But I definitely see like a 3-5, like a 3-5-7-3. We'll see what we get here. All right, after Joe Burrow went Jonathan Brooks, JMO, Williams, Brock Bowers, Dallas Goedert. Very, very Jake Ferguson did go. He went 1 pick ahead of me. I just never noticed. I was going to say, I was like, holy cow, I can't believe those guys went ahead of Jake Ferguson. Nope. Fergie was off the board. He wasn't even available to me. Let's see, Raheem Mostert, pick 93. Feels early. I could be wrong. Yeah, that is early for Mostert. May Blossom, Achane, Kamara, Mostert. No, guys, no. Don't do that. I mean, it's okay to get this like dual running backs from the same team, but better value. Not when your first 3 running backs. You know what I mean? Like Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson Jr. could be your 4th and 5th running backs. So that's much better if you're going to do like a same team combo. And a much better situation too, just because I feel like that both of those guys week in and week out will be there. I mean, I don't know if Mostert and Achane every single week you're going to have the opportunity for both of them to go off, because you still have Waddle and Tyreek there. The Commanders, they're in a situation where they have to run the ball. They can't go full airborne attack with Jaden Daniels. I don't care if they get Ayuk and they have him lined up with Terry McLaurin, Jayon Dotson. Like, that doesn't mean that offense is just instantly going to turn into a vertical threat. They're still going to run the ball a ton. So I would much rather have a same team combo, like I said, in the Commanders over the Dolphins. All right, let's see. We're up in 3 picks here. We're 1, 2, 4, 1. Maybe we get some Tony Pollard here to pair up with Calvin Ridley. We get a late round third QB and Will Levis. I wouldn't hate that. Trevor Lawrence just went. That wouldn't have been a bad combo with. Oh, he has a week 12 bye, though. That wouldn't work. That would have been a nice combo with Ingram. I think we're going to go Tony Pollard here as long as we don't get sniped. If not, oh, wow, I really don't like what's available to me here. So, yeah, I hope we get Tony Pollard here. This guy just took Jonathan Brooks, and he takes Tony Pollard. He's in the chat. Above cost. He is above cost, but this is someone that I trust a lot. I'm going to take Josh Palmer. I'm going to grab him. We talked about his stock climbing. I took him at pick 105, and we discussed his cost coming up to pick 111. So again, continuing to climb. I'm doing my part. Lad McConkey stands. I didn't do effing shit. I didn't do shit. I always love those. Good morning, my dude. How's the team looking, and what did you have for breakfast? The old bottle of water, Andrew. The old bottle of water. Appreciate you. I just saw your comment a couple of minutes ago. We are Joe Burrow, Breece Hall, Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, Joshua, James, Palmer, and Evan Ingram. We are on the board right now here. Let's see. Caleb Williams, Shakir, Javonte, Devin Singletary, Brock Purdy. I mean, there isn't a receiver in sight. I think we're going to go running back here. Breece Hall, Derrick Henry. We're pretty loaded up. Let's go with let's do Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary was a big win for me last year. May not be as fruitful of a return of an ROI this upcoming season, but I just don't see them adding any more pieces. I don't know if Tyrone Tracy or Eric Gray can make enough impact to just like completely steal significant workloads from Devon Singletary. So I'm still very comfortable with him. I'm shaky because obviously he was on a much better offense last year, much better quarterback play, receivers, etc. But he has, connection to Dable. He's used him well in the past. They have a connection. I'm going to buy some value there. Let's see if I had any ADP. I got him 3 picks after ADP, which is fine. I don't love it. But as my third running back with the stable of receivers I have, a good tight end, I'm okay with it. After Devin Singletary, Caleb Williams, Khalil Shakir, Javonte Williams, Gabe Davis. Maybe Davis would have been a nice pick to bring in to my Evan Ingram stack. But again, without Trevor Lawrence, I have a lot of week 12 buys. I'm good there. I'm good. I mean, Palmer and Ridley both have week 5 buys, but I would rather double down on week 5, week 6, or week 7 buys than I would on 12. Because at that point, like if your players have made it that far and you're in contention, it means they're doing their part, and we don't want to have an overwhelming amount of good players not being exposed to later week production. All right, we are up in 7 picks here. Could be looking at another running back here. It's very hard for me to just continue to say no to Austin Eckler. I'll be at pick 129. I don't think I'll take him there. If he falls to me at 136, he probably won't. Then I would take him there. Brian Robinson already went at 109, and I don't get it. I don't get that. I feel like that is it's an overpriced whatever this person paid. What is it, 109? I'm trying to find it here. Trevor Lawrence, pick 109. There we go. He went off the board at 109. His ADP is 110. So maybe it's just because the board has them separated. Austin Eckler goes right there. What is that? 15, about 15 picks after Brian Robinson. I'll continue to buy Austin Eckler at the dip. Brandon Cooks goes. Chase Brown goes. Are we looking at Dontavian Wicks, another climber? Another name off the best ball breakfast menu. We are on deck. Let's see if this GRNB snipes me again. Pat Freiermuth. Getting his second tight end. Ooh, a little bit ahead of ADP. Pick 128. His ADP is 136. So he was Mick desperate. Yeah, we're going Dontavian Wicks here. Again, I love the situation. Packers offense is going to be good. Some say, hey, yeah, Wicks could be the best guy there. But I'm getting Wicks, but he's the last receiver that's being drafted for their offense. Watson's already gone. Dobbs is already gone. Jaden Reed is already gone. I'm getting the best value. And yes, that's a round pick selection, but it's because he's in a very good offense, right? Like it's kind of the same argument for Tank Dell's ADP. Why the hell is the Texans wide receiver 3 going ahead of other teams' quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end ones? It makes no sense whatsoever. We're bringing Herbert in with Joe Burrow. I like that. We've got the Higgins-Burrow stack. We've got the Herbert and now Palmer stack. Feeling good about that. I still might want another QB. Those are two good quarterbacks, but I still might want another. Reason being, Burrow going to be dealing with an injury most of the season, like we said. Herbert in a run-dominated offense, so we assume, so we believe. I do still think that team's going to pass the ball more than the public expects, because why would they do exactly what you think they're going to do? Pearsall, Goff, Kmet coming off the board after my pick of Justin Herbert. We've got Zeke Elliott, Dallas Cowboys running back 1 off the board. We are going to need a running back with our next pick, most likely. We're probably going running back tight end here. We're up in 12 picks. Maybe Ty Chandler. I like that. Getting some Packers, Vikings, week 17 correlation there with Wicks and Ty. See, Nick Chubb off the board, round 12, pick 141. Let's see what that came in at. Okay, May Blossom. You made up for the Achane and Mostert picks, that's for sure. He got Eckler. He got Nick Chubb. I like that. I think that you still need another running back or two. So I would like a 2-6-8-2 build for you. I think that would work. Or 2-7-7-2. I wouldn't hate that. He's got Amon Ra, Devonta Smith, Hollywood Brown, Keon Coleman, Rashid Shaheed. Those are good receivers. I like that. Missing out on some tight end value, but I think May Blossom's putting something together here that's not too bad. Let's see. Nick Chubb, Zach Charbonnet, Xavier Legette. Xavier Legette, just way too expensive. I don't care what anybody says. Adam Thielen's going to be the number 2 there. Legette is this year's Jonathan Mingo, Quentin Johnston pick. I'm not saying he's going to be those guys. I'm not saying he's going to be bad, but the evaluation in round 12 is very similar to what we saw from those guys. Oh, he's big. Oh, he's athletic. Let's get him. Still going to be a team that's going to run the ball more. Chuba Hubbard's going to have more fantasy points this year and half-point PPR than Xavier Legette, hands down. He's the late-round Panther that you want to grab. And round 12, I don't even consider this late round. I consider 14 to 18, your last 5 picks, to be late round. 8 to 13 is more mid-round in my opinion. All right, Ty Chandler did go. Hunter Henry, Rico Dowdle. We are up in about 3 picks here. We've got Cousins, Mooney, Jalen Wright, Matthew Stafford, Luke Musgrave, Roman Wilson. I mean, they're putting us to the coals here, guys. They're putting us to test. This is a tougher area to draft in, and we may just very well be going Jaleel McLaughlin right here because we ain't playing. We ain't playing. Ray Davis, Tyler Algier, Jalen Wright, guys ahead of him. I just feel like Jaleel McLaughlin has a clear path to production. I also like Kamani Vidal here. Maybe we wait on one of those, or maybe we get both. Maybe we just take McLaughlin and Vidal alike right here. Derrick Henry does have a week 14 bye. I'm trying to look at other options that we're going to have here. Maybe Luke Musgrave. Let's go with Luke Musgrave, actually. Let's get our second tight end. We get some more correlation to that week 17 matchup with the Vikings and the Packers. We stack him up with Dontavian Wicks. I'm okay with that, and we're getting him right on time at ADP. I have a lot of Luke Musgrave. It's very, very, very weird. I don't love Luke Musgrave, but he was able to turn it on at the end of last year. So, and Tucker Kraft is dealing with an injury. I don't know. I think there could be something there. I'm not overly excited about it, but I think it's a good pick given what we've done with our last several picks. The Dontavian Wicks pick, getting him stacked up there. I was talking like I already had Ty Chandler. I didn't even have Ty Chandler. So maybe we need to get some late round Vikings then. Counting my eggs before they hatch. This next pick we're getting Kamani Vidal or Jaleel McLaughlin, one or the other. Probably would be better to get Vidal just because I have a lot of JMC and we need to differentiate. We've got a long way to go here. Jalen Wright, Michael Wilson, Matthew Stafford, Tyler Algier starting off round 14. Now we're in the late rounds, and there goes Kamani Vidal. JMC. They made the pick for us. Ray Davis, Antonio Gibson, Jaleel McLaughlin. Those are the top running backs. We're going JMC. Big play this year, JMC. Big back-end value. Malachi Corley, Roman Wilson come off the board. The throat's taking shots this morning. Throat's killing me. But we're here. We're here. We're doing the damn thing. All right, Malachi Corley, Roman Wilson off the board. Let's see what Storm is working with here. If you're in the chat, if you're drafting with us, be sure to let us know, and I will review your teams at the end here. Got his first QB, a 1-4-7-2 build. Deshaun Watson, Pacheco, Rashad White, Javonte Williams, Chase Brown. Not bad. Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, DK Metcalf, George Pickens, JSN, Tyler Lockett, Darnell Mooney. This is a good team. Brock Bowers, Cole Kmet. I mean, obviously starting off with Deshaun Watson, not ideal. But hey, rounds 14 through 18, plenty of quarterbacks available. I like my start a little bit more just because I like my running backs a little bit more than his. But a good build, a very, very balanced, Got my Jamar Chase. I like Olave. I like Metcalf, Pickens. I mean, that's a good team, Storm. That's a good team. I like it. All right, Deshaun Watson, Chiga Okonkwo, Ty Conklin, Wan'Dale Robinson, Baker Mayfield, Rashad Bateman. Bateman kicking off the end of round 14, start of round 15. Ray Davis goes to Bucky. Let's see. The 2 spots up, Ruby 1000. They took Baker Mayfield on their last pick. Maybe they go Kate Otten here. Ben Sinnott. Kate Otten not available. Already went off the board, it looks like. I was asleep at the wheel. Where did Kate Otten go? No, Kate Otten still is available. That's a bad pick. It's a bad pick, Ben. I don't like it. You just took Baker. Why would you take Ben Sinnott, who actually has competition at the position? That makes no sense. All right, we are up next. I think we're going maybe Chuba Hubbard here. We're at 2-4-6-2. We just got done talking him up. Maybe we steal that guy's Kate Otten. Let's see. Hall, Henry, Singletary, Jalil. Yeah, let's get Chuba. Let's get some more Chuba. No issues there. Easily the running back one to start the season. I think people are going to continue to pump their brakes on Jonathan Brooks. We're at a 2.562. I mean, we're looking pretty good here. I don't need any more running backs, in my opinion. I might take one more. 2.682, 2.673, 2.673. I could work with that. I'd really like to get another QB, but I think 2.673 is calling our name. I think we get one more running back, one more receiver, and one more tight end. You know what? We do have Chris Godwin. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and take Cade Otton. Excuse me. I like Cade. Last year, Cade Otton, Trey McBride, Tyler Conklin, big late round targets for me. Braelon Allen going in round 16 was a round 18 pick not long ago. I was telling folks, hey, like if you want him, you got to take him in round 17. It's a little different. If you want him, now you're taking him in round 16. Stock continuing to rise. Braelon Allen, Marvin Mims Jr., Noah Fant, Isaiah Likely off the board here, round 16. Zay Jones, good pick there. May Blossom. I don't like how you finished after that Nick Chubb. I thought the Nick Chubb and Eckler picks were great, but then you went Hunter Henry, Tyler Conklin, Audric Estime. Audric Estime, that's a last round pick, friend. Okay, maybe it's not per his ADP, but it should be. It should be. How are you going to take Audric Estime over Jalil McLaughlin? No, it is a last round pick. What am I saying? You drafted him pick 172. His ADP is 212. That's a mistake, May Blossom. That's a mistake. That was your last round pick right there. Zay Jones. I mean, what's his ADP at? You took him at 189. His ADP is 195. Like, you could have got him at pick 196. Come on now, May Blossom. Come on now, May Blossom. Do better. Do better. Let's do better here now. Let's get the betterness going here. We're up in 9 picks. We took our last tight end. So we want one more running back, one more receiver. If Will Levis falls, we could do Will Levis too. I kind of have a lot of him though. He's my most exposed quarterback. I just like the fall though, like 179. If he falls to me at 201, I think that's a smash. But you know what? I think maybe Storm takes him because he's got Watson, he's got Geno Smith. He would be getting him at pick 198 versus his ADP of 179. I think Storm probably gets him from us, and that would be a good pick for him. Doesn't have any exposure to the Titans, but that's just a great value. And again, you have Watson and Geno Smith. Storm, you might want to take 4 quarterbacks, get some Derek Carr and Will Levis, because that's going to be tough. Bo Nix, what in the world? What in the world? Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy. What is going on here? May Blossom. There goes Will Levis. Wow, that Will Levis, ADP 179 falling to 197. That is crazy. And having Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy drafted over him. Those players going after Derek Carr, huge mistake. Gardner Minshew, huge mistake. I don't say whatever you want about that competition. I'm taking Minshew in the last round. Aiden O'Connell is a better pick than okay, that's pretty similar picks. Never mind. Pretty similar picks. Aiden O'Connell and Bo Nix, because you can get them in the last round. I mean, between those two players, I'm on the clock. I better make a pick and stop monologuing. Like I said, we wanted another receiver and another running back. So, I don't love doing this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Tyrone Tracy and just get him with Devin Singletary. I have 3 week 11 buys for a 6 running back room, so that's not ideal. But my other 3 will be Breece Hall, Derrick Henry, and Jalil McLaughlin, who I'm obviously very high on. So I'm okay with that. But bringing Tyrone Tracy back in a 6 running back stable with Devin Singletary. I don't mind that. And again, I got both of them at great value. I've got Devin Singletary 3 picks after ADP. I got Tyrone Tracy was ADP went 189. I got him at pick 201. I mean, this was a great draft for us. We were able to get a lot of extra value because, I mean, this is not a very nuanced draft room here. I mean, you had, this guy in the 9 spot, the 10 spot. He was doing this weird Texans thing to start. He did wind up getting, Dameon Pierce in the back end here. He did a weird Texans thing. The guy up front in the 1 spot, he did, hero tight end. This Anta, X-Wall, and May Blossom, they're doing a bunch of weird stuff, taking last round players in rounds 15, 16, 17. I mean, that was all over the place. All right, so we need our last receiver here. We're just going to go ahead and tap Tyler Boyd and get a nice little callback to our Calvin Ridley pick. Nice little stack there. And Tyler Boyd being like my last receiver, even in a seven wide receiver build, feels pretty good. Don't love the week 5 buys, Ridley, Palmer, and Boyd. But again, if I'm going to do that, I'd rather have those bye weeks be earlier in the season. So it gives me a lot more time to make up for any woeful action thereafter. All right. I can get the last several picks in, and we are going to head out for the day. Appreciate everybody coming by, rolling with us this morning. Always a great way to start your day with a best ball draft, ripping some ADP talks. Love it, love it, love it. All right, after that Will Levis pick, we had Donta Foreman, Javon Baker, Jonnu Smith, Tyrone Tracy Jr., Sam Darnold, Jelani Woods, Tank Bigsby, Keaton Mitchell, Brendan Rice, Noah Brown, Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd's going to outproduce both of those guys, Noah Brown and Brendan Rice. Again, bad picks. Love the value I'm getting here. CEH, Juwan Johnson, Roshan Johnson, Kenny Gainwell, Khalif Raymond. I mean, May Blossom and this Ant X-Wall guy are just taking all sorts of shots. All sorts of shots. Ant X has got to take Michael Thomas. Nope, took Devontae Walker. I thought for sure that guy's taking Michael Thomas or Juju Smith-Schuster. All over the place. His last three receivers were Wandell, Troy Franklin, and Devontae Walker. Awful. Awful. Not good. Let's see. Last 2 picks here. We've got, let's see, who will they be? Got Drake May, Derek Carr on the board. Derek Carr is going to go undrafted is crazy. When you have guys like Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy, that's nuts. That's nuts. Justin Fields, Sam Darnold. I mean, wouldn't that mean like you would just get involved with like Spencer Rattler then? Like what? Like if that's really what people think, like if they really devalue Derek Carr that much, would they not just get Spencer Rattler? Darius Slayton, Gesicki, GJ Chark, Jatavian Sanders, Russell Wilson, OBJ, Drake May. I mean, these are guys that are not being drafted. That's crazy for me. Drake May was the last pick, so it went Hayden Hurst and Drake May. Very, very odd room. Very odd room. I soaked up a lot of value with players that I like. We've got Burrow, we've got Herbert, Breece Hall, Derrick Henry, Devin Singletary, Jaleel McLaughlin, Chuba Hubbard, Tyrone Tracy, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, Josh Palmer, Dontavian Wicks, Tyler Boyd. Very good receiver stable. We covered Hollywood Brown earlier in some other ADP risers. Evan Ingram, Luke Musgrave, and Cade Otton. Love that draft. Love you guys for stopping by with us. We had a nice, clean 59-minute show here, clocking in right at an hour. Awesome way to start the day. Appreciate you guys rising, grinding with us. If you were in the chat, if you were in the draft, again, last call here. To throw yourself out there if you want to have your team reviewed. We will be back next week, same time. More ADP risers, more fallers, more breakfast on the menu. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Be sure to smash the like button on your way out the door, share the video, and follow the Fantasy Six Pack Network. Take care, be well, be good. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. We'll see you guys.